starts in September. So a few things a little bit different from what you're used to in this case. First of all, it's the timing of the announcement now. It's 3 weeks until the camp. It's pretty unusual to do it, but the reason is that we would like the players to know if they're in or out early, so they can prepare for their holiday or the camp in advance. So that's one thing. Of course, there's a disadvantage to announcing the squad early. 3 weeks is a long time in football, so a lot of things can change. So we take that into account, and we opted to go for 25 players and select 25 players for this camp, because we know some things might happen in 3 weeks. Yeah, you knew that we planned to have a camp right after the championship finished in May, and play the championship players in that time, and then give them off for the June window. Yeah, that kind of colours a little bit our squad that you have seen. This June window has been tough or tricky for Ireland in the past, and I would guess the reason is that after a long season like the championship is, playing 2 games every week, or you can call it 3 games every week, and a lot of matches in the end of season, players are tired, both physically and mentally, and after the season they switch off, and then just to keep fitness level for a month until 2 friendlies is tricky and tough. But I think also mentally, just to switch on, switch off is tough for them. So what we want now, most of all, is that these players take a good off season and come in flying in pre-season, and in September we will benefit from that rest. There has been a lot of talks about the load on players, and I think we try to kind of adjust to that fact, and opted to limit the number of championship players in this squad. So yeah, maybe in relation to that, we talked to some of the players, and all of these championship players want to come. That's not an issue. Everybody wants to come, and I know some would be unhappy not to be in the squad, but that is why we did it. That is the reason why we did it for all the championship players that finished on the 3rd of May. The only exception is Robbie Brady, not because he is a good player and a leader in the squad, but he's playing a left back where we don't have a lot of depth, so we needed to ask him to be in the squad, and he was more than happy to do that. Yeah. Another factor in this is as well that we expect to have no holiday next summer. We expect to come in straight from the season, in the pre-season, going to US in the World Cup. So no holiday next season. We can at least give them some extra holiday this season. And it goes the same with you guys. Yeah, so just a few things before I ask the questions, you ask the questions. A few things, at least 3 of the players in the squad have been injured. So for example, Sami Smodic hasn't featured for Ipswich, coming back from an ankle surgery. He is starting to train. We are hoping that he will be okay in June, but it is unlikely. But that's one of the reasons we have 25 players. But we are hoping that he will be ready for us in June. But we will see. Troy Parrott has been out as well with a groin injury. He is coming back, and he is really optimistic he will be good for June, and he will play. He will feature for Asset before this camp. That's what he says. Festi as well has been injured. He's coming back slowly. He's getting his minutes. They're taking it careful with him. So hopefully by June he will be fit and flying. So that's 3 players. Other 3 players haven't had much playing time. Seamus is back. Hasn't played much for Everton, but is fit and really wants to come, and you know his mentality. He will always help us. Will Smallbone is another one. Have had limited minutes for Southampton, and the same goes for Evan Ferguson. But we really want to see these players in June, where they are at, etc. So yeah, you can ask questions about some other players later on. If we go to the Senegal opponent, a really good opponent, attacking force. I think they are 19th in the FIFA ranking. The options they have is ridiculous. Quality players in the best leagues in the world, and you kind of until you see it, you kind of are amazed the quality they can tap into. I think I counted 21 matches in a row that they haven't lost. They lost one after extra time and penalties in the African Cup of Nations against Ivory Coast. But I think apart from that, they haven't lost a game for 21 games in a row. At least 16 or so, 16, but I counted 21. It's just ridiculous amount of games without losing. So a force coming to Aviva. I hope we will have a big support in June when they come here. And like I've said before, it's good to play teams from other continents. We're planning to go to the World Cup, and then we need to play teams from Africa, from Asia, from America, etc. So it's good to have an opponent like this, just to match up and prepare. The same goes with Luxembourg. I think they're now 90th, 91st on the FIFA ranking. They've jumped 100 places in a few years. Luke Holtz has been the coach there for 15 years, which is just unheard of when it comes to national teams. So it's a good stability, and we have history against them. They have been a tricky opponent for Ireland, so it's a good test to play them in Luxembourg. Good.
Okay, we'll start with some questions. Stephen, do you want to take it away first of all, please?
I suppose if you want to win games, you need to score goals. Is there anything you can do with that Ferguson you think that can get him back in the fold again?
No, that's an interesting thing about him. We would just like to see him in camp where he is at the moment. He isn't getting playing time at West Ham, so we just want to see where he is at the moment. We cannot do much in 10 days, but hopefully he will get a good off season and then start a good pre-season and come in flying in September. It goes with him like everyone else.
Say Ida has shown good form at Celtic this season. Can you tell what the difference is with the way he's playing there to when he's playing with Ireland, with whom he hasn't been scoring as prolific as he has been with Celtic?
Yeah, the easy answer to that one is that normally they have ball possession, probably 70-80% in games. They have a lot of goal scoring opportunities, and strikers will tend to score from those opportunities. We have less in the games we are playing, so it's more difficult to score when you play with Ireland than Celtic.
Just on Seamus Coleman, you did mention obviously his limited games on the scene. What do you think he can still offer to this Ireland squad?
Well, his quality is, I don't think nobody is questioning his quality as a player, but he gives a lot on other sides as well. He's a big leader, helping the players. There's a few young players now coming in, so he can assist them as well. But he gives on many layers. He gives us a lot.
Josh Keeley has been called up. You mentioned Robbie Brady coming in because you've obviously got limited options on the left-hand side. Like, how realistic is it that Josh can give you a real option going into the World Cup campaign? What kind of strengths and attributes do you think he has?
One of his biggest attributes, in my opinion, is that he is a versatile player. So he can move from right to left. He's played the left back, left wing, right back, right wing. So that's a good attribute in our squad, and gives us a flexibility in game changes. So that's one of probably his biggest advantages at this moment. Now we just want to see him in our environment with these players. It's mostly Premier League players, so we can evaluate him in kind of that environment, and that's going to be exciting. Normally good players will step up when they train with better players, so we're just excited to see him.
You obviously spoke to Stephen Badley recently. Did you talk much about Josh, or was there anything else maybe you learned from your chat with Stephen Badley?
Yeah, he shared information about his team. I always ask the coaches, what do they think about their team? Is there anyone that is interesting, someone that I should have my eye on, etc. But we had Josh in our preliminary squad last camp and have been watching him for some time. So I think it shouldn't be a surprise that we pick him or select him now.
Just while you can ask about Senegal, you mentioned about needing to play teams with their confidence. Tactically, what do you think that specific game can offer you in terms of developing this squad that you have?
Well, analysing them, it's individual quality for sure, but they are especially good finding spaces behind the defensive line, using gaps that emerge. But a lot of runs in behind is where their threat is the biggest, and that will be a tricky thing because not many teams threaten so much in behind like they do. That's from our analysis that what I see is going to be the most trickiest thing when we play them. But individual quality, speed, physicality, they have it all.
Paul Neiman, please.
I just want to ask about Seamus. There's a lot of talk that he could be finishing up at the end of the season. He's obviously in the squad here. Has he said to you about continuing on or being part of your World Cup plans?
No, he didn't, and if he did, I wouldn't tell it to you because that would be his decision. If he will announce it, I want at some time. So, no, he didn't.
Is Seamus in your plans for the World Cup qualifier?
Yeah, otherwise we wouldn't be selecting him now.
Comment, please.
Just on the three new lads, Josh Keeley, John Joe Patrick Finn and Killian Phillips, what can they add?
Well, Keeley is one that is probably the next one in line. He's young, he's progressing really fast. This season has been really good for him. He's taken huge steps this season. He's now playing in the playoffs, so probably, hopefully they get promoted so he can play at the next level next season. But so that's our goalkeeper coach has been analysing him. He really wanted to work with him this camp. And he gives us some options to give Trav an extended holiday and an extended off season, and the same because Gav is injured, so it was a spot and he wanted to see a younger goalkeeper. So no, that's him. Killian, I've seen a couple of occasions. Gone to St Mirren and watched him. He just has abundance of energy. He has physicality and height, but I love his energy, and he can be a key thing. A little bit different from the players we have in size and in physique, etc. So we just wanted to see him again in this environment. Same goes with John Joe, different kind of a midfielder, and we just wanted to measure him in relation to the other players we have.
And just on this size and physicality in midfield, is that, you think, something that needed addressed? Because I know Cullen and Knight are very good players, but size-wise compared to the two new lads coming in?
Sometimes it matters, sometimes it doesn't, sometimes it matters. So it's good to have and see an option, you know, to at least have the option to pull him in when it's needed. But sometimes it matters, yes.
Thank you. Sean, please.
Hey, Heimir. Have you spoken to Evan about his lack of minutes in the last couple of months, and how much of that is worry coming up to September when the World Cup qualifiers kick off? There'll only be a handful of Premier League games until September 6th.
No, I'm not interfering with what is the next step. Obviously, all players know that you have more chance of playing in a national team if you're playing on a regular basis, and you have more chance of playing in a national team if you're playing well. So is known. We don't need to discuss that, but I think he is much more frustrated than me that he is not playing.
Raf, please.
Yeah, just from the recent trip to the continent, obviously, I guess it's great to see those players firsthand, but is there another side in terms of the optics of encouraging more players to go abroad as well?
Well, all leagues have their kind of own life. Is totally different football played in, for example, in Holland and France. So it's whatever is best for you. You could find a league that would fit you. For our younger players, I would say go into to a place where you have developmental leagues, meaning that clubs are taking you in, they want to progress you and maybe sell you at a later stage as a better player, not coming in as a number in a squad. So there are leagues that really like kind of stops going somewhere else. So yeah, I know that from Iceland there's a lot of players going to Belgium, to Holland, Sweden, Denmark, and then from there so that's the kind of how the clubs are run. They buy young players, they try to develop them and go. So for our younger players, I think it's good to think outside the zone that you normally have been focusing on.
Any further questions for the live, please? No? Okay, we'll go down to the breakout room, which is the analysis room this time.